U.S. Senate delegation arrives in North Sinai to inspect Rafah crossing and aid warehouses. North Sinai governor says Rafah crossing remains open. Egypt ready to send thousands of aid trucks. And Egypt engages international partners to support US-Iran nuclear talks and ease regional tensions. Hello, good evening and welcome to our Egypt Bulletin here at Q News. I'm Mark Summers. A US Senate delegation arrives in North Sinai to inspect the Rafah border crossing and humanitarian aid warehouses amid Egypt's efforts to support Gaza. US senators landed at Al Arish International Airport to review Egypt's management of the Rafah border and humanitarian aid storage. The visit highlights Egypt's role in facilitating aid into Gaza, supporting ceasefire negotiations and advocating for the release of detainees. Egyptian authorities stressed their readiness to allow thousands of aid trucks into Gaza once Israeli restrictions are lifted, reflecting the country's ongoing humanitarian and medical support for Palestinians. North Sinai Governor Qnews says Egypt is ready to dispatch thousands of aid trucks to Gaza once Israeli barriers are removed, highlighting ongoing medical and humanitarian support. Speaking from Rafah during a visit by US Senators Chris Van Hollen and Jeff Merkley, the governor confirmed that Egypt's side of the border remains open. He emphasized Egypt's commitment to facilitating aid for Gaza, with over 5,000 trucks currently stalled due to Israeli obstruction. Egypt continues providing medical care for evacuees and underscores its pursuit of a two-state solution, while the US delegation, UN ceasefire monitors and embassy officials reviewed ongoing humanitarian and relief efforts for Palestinians. The US Senate delegation has visited the Egyptian Red Crescent's logistics center to inspect ongoing humanitarian aid operations. During their visit, North Sinai governor reaffirmed Egypt's unwavering commitment to delivering continuous assistance to Gaza, emphasizing the country's determination to support the Palestinians despite ongoing challenges. The visit highlights the cooperation between US and Egyptian officials in addressing urgent humanitarian needs in the region. So US senators visited Egypt's Rafah border crossing, inspecting aid efforts and discussing ongoing challenges limiting humanitarian supplies reaching Gaza. Now, the joint Egyptian-American military exercise, Bright Star 2025, has commenced at Mohammed Naguib military base and various naval and air bases across Egypt, and it continues until September the 10th. Over 8,000 troops from 14 countries are participating, with 30 additional nations observing. The event includes civilian police, the Red Cross, and NATO representatives. Egyptian and US commanders emphasized the exercise's significance in strengthening military cooperation and exchanging expertise. Participants praised Egypt's warm hospitality and the opportunity to share military cultures. Highlights included a weapons exhibition, military music performances, and a parachute demonstration near the pyramids. The exercise showcases Egypt's role as a regional military collaboration hub and enhances multinational defense ties. Egypt, under President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's guidance, has engaged with international partners to support renewed US-Iran nuclear negotiations and reduce regional tensions. Egypt's Foreign Minister, Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, held a series of high-level contacts with European E3 partners, Iranian officials, US representatives, and the IAEA Director General. The goal is to create conditions for resuming US-Iran nuclear talks, bridging differences and reaching a sustainable agreement. These efforts aim to lower tensions, restore trust, and foster regional security following the reactivation of UN sanctions mechanisms. UNRWA says its warehouses in Egypt and Jordan are full and ready to dispatch 6,000 trucks of humanitarian aid to Gaza once Israeli restrictions are lifted. The UN agency UNRWA confirmed that its warehouses in Egypt and Jordan are prepared to load around 6,000 trucks of aid to Gaza. The agency called for the lifting of Israeli restrictions blocking entry of humanitarian supplies, emphasizing it has an effective system to distribute aid safely and widely. UNRWA stressed the urgent need to allow life-saving assistance to reach Palestinians via land routes. Former Egyptian intelligence official Mohammed Ibrahim el-Dawiri says Egypt has consistently worked to mediate Gaza's crisis, safeguarding national and regional security. Major General Mohammed Ibrahim el-Dawiri, former deputy head of Egypt's General Intelligence, said that Egypt's efforts regarding the Palestinian issue are rooted in national security priorities. Highlighting Egypt's unique relationships with all Palestinian factions, he emphasized the country's consistent role in promoting the creation of a Palestinian state along 1967 borders. He also addressed Egypt's ongoing mediation efforts between Hamas and Fatah, aimed at resolving internal divisions and mitigating the impacts of the 2007 Palestinian split. Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli in Tianjin, highlighting strong bilateral relations and upcoming 70-year-old diplomatic anniversary. President Xi Jinping received Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli at the Tianjin Guest House, praising the strong cooperation between Cairo and Beijing, both bilaterally and in international forums. Xi noted that relations are at their best stage and emphasized the personal friendship with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The leaders also highlighted preparations for next year's 70th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two nations. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati spoke with Latvia's Foreign Minister Baiba Braze on Gaza's humanitarian crisis, EU roles, and strengthening bilateral cooperation. During a phone call, Egypt and Latvia discussed the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, where over 2 million Palestinians face famine and ongoing Israeli military operations. Minister Abdel Ati highlighted Egypt's efforts to ensure aid access and called on the EU to pressure Israel to halt attacks and consider a ceasefire. The ministers also explored expanding economic trade and technology partnerships, emphasizing the importance of continued coordination to promote international peace and security. Egypt will host an official G20 meeting in Cairo from September the 1st to the 3rd, the first ever outside member countries, focusing on global food security and multilateral cooperation. This marks the first such meeting outside member states since the group's founding in 1989. The ambassador highlighted Egypt's role as a guest participant for the third consecutive year and fifth overall, reflecting its regional weight and commitment to multilateral negotiations. The meeting, coordinated with South Africa's G20 presidency, will focus on global food security, discuss key outcomes from the G20 working group, and prepare the ministerial statement to be adopted at the South Africa G20 ministerial meeting on September 19th. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam toured the Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo, exploring its halls and ancient Egyptian collections. The Lebanese Prime Minister was accompanied by the Culture Minister and the Energy Minister and visited the Grand Egyptian Museum. CEO Ahmed Ghonim guided the delegation through the museum's main hall, the grand staircase, and all 12 exhibition galleries covering ancient Egyptian history from the earliest cities to the Greek and Roman periods. The Lebanese delegation praised the museum's extensive collections, unique display scenarios, and its role in preserving Egypt's ancient heritage. And that's our Egypt bulletin for this hour, but here's the main headlines here in Egypt. U.S. Senate delegation arrives in northern Sinai to inspect Rafah crossing and aid warehouses. The North Sinai governor says Rafah crossing remains open and Egypt is ready to send thousands of aid trucks. And Egypt engages international partners to support U.S.-Iran nuclear talks and ease regional tensions. And that's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest developments.